Joe Biden may be known to some by the nickname Middle Class Joe, but the former vice president and current president is actually a millionaire. At the start of his 2020 presidential campaign, Biden released his financial information, disclosures as well as state and federal tax returns. How much is Joe Biden worth? Joe Biden's current net worth is estimated at $9 million by Forbes, based on his financial disclosure report. When he left the vice presidency in 2017, Biden had a net worth of $2.5 million, built on his real estate holdings and pension, Forbes said. In his time out of office, Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, earned $17.3 million, largely between a book deal and high-paying speaking engagements. They used some of their earnings to buy a 4,800 square foot summer home in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, for $2.7 million in June 2017. Joe Biden's salary as a president. Joe Biden receives a salary of $400,000 a year. He also receives an additional $50,000, which pays for the president's personal expenses, such as food and dry cleaning. Joe Biden also receives $100,000 as a traveling allowance and $120,000 as a renovation expense for the White House. In addition to this salary, Joe Biden receives the following benefits: free health care, free maids and cooks, free security, free travel. Debt. Financial disclosure forms have revealed Biden's struggle with debt over the years. During those years, Biden's only financial asset was his home in Delaware. He has taken out multiple loans against his house. From 1983 to 2015, Biden borrowed against the cash value of his life insurance policies, which are valued at a maximum of $50,000. Disclosure forms released in 2015 revealed that he took out a mortgage on his home in 2013, and owed between $500,000 to $1 million on the property. How much did Joe Biden make from speeches? After leaving the White House, Joe and Jill have earned at least $15 million from speaking engagements and book deals. Biden has become an in-demand public speaker, often earning hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single speech. For example, he earned $190,000 in 2018 for one speech at Drew University in New Jersey. In total, he gave 40 speeches from 2017 to 2018, receiving 5-figure or 6-figure paydays each time. Joe Biden's income from book deals. After Biden left the office of the vice presidency, he and his wife signed a $10 million, 3-book deal. After writing Promise Me, Dad, a book about his son's death, Joe promoted his book with a tour. Joe Biden's tax returns. According to Joe's tax returns, the Bidens earned the following amounts in recent years. 2016, $400,000. 2017, $11 million. 2018, $4.6 million. Joe Biden's rental income. Federal financial disclosures also show that Joe and Jill earned $2,200 per month by renting out their guest house to members of the Secret Service while Biden was vice president. In total, they earned about $170,000 in rental income during this period. Joe Biden's cars. Joe Biden is a true-blood American with a passion for vintage cars. Throughout his career, Joe Biden has spent millions of dollars buying vintage luxury cars at various auctions. The list of cars: 1932 Ford Roadster, Shelby Cobra, 1957 Corvette, Lincoln Convertible Roadster. Joe Biden's career. After college, Biden worked as a law clerk before acting as a public defender and starting his own law firm. He first became involved in politics in 1969 when he ran for a seat on the New Castle County Council, winning the election and setting his sights on the U.S. Senate almost immediately. He won the 1972 U.S. Senate election in Delaware despite being the clear underdog. At age 30, he was one of the youngest senators in U.S. history. After a long stint in the U.S. Senate, Joe set his sights on the ultimate prize, the presidency. In 1987, he ran for the Democratic nomination, although he ran into trouble when he was accused of plagiarizing a speech. Further controversy eventually led to Biden withdrawing from the race. In 2008, Biden tried to gain the Democratic nomination again. Although his campaign had many bright points, Biden's comments about Barack Obama and Indian people proved to be major blunders. He also had trouble raising funds and was never a serious contender against either Hillary Clinton or Obama. In the end though, Barack Obama made him vice president. In 2008, he gave up his position in the Senate to serve in Obama's administration. In 2020, Joe Biden became the Democratic nominee for U.S. president. How much did Joe Biden make as vice president? When President Biden officially ended his term as VP, he filed a financial disclosure form that listed his net worth between $897,000 and $489,000. As VP, he earned about $225,000 every year. But then, in the subsequent 2 years, the couple apparently made more than $15 million in speaking fees, book tours. Both he and Dr. Biden released memoirs and leadership at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement at the University of Pennsylvania. In turn, they were able to make more donations and pay off one of their mortgages. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe for more.